Christy Casciano.
I'm Jeff Kulikowski. By this time next year, for sure, more than 1 million people from the Mohawk Valley to the Finger Lakes and areas in between could have already cashed a refund check from New York State.
In an interview with News Channel 9's Andrew Donovan, the governor explains where the surplus cash came from.
Governor, thanks so much for making time for us in Syracuse.
Thanks, Andrew. Always good to talk to you.
Eager to talk about her proposed inflation refunds next year, the governor spoke with us from New York City. Quite the climb from her humble roots in Buffalo.
My parents really struggled. We bought our clothes at used clothing stores, and as a kid, it's kind of embarrassing, I'll be honest with you.
Her upbringing is why she's bringing up the idea of sending New Yorkers checks. $300 for single taxpayers who make up to $150,000 a year, and $500 for joint tax filers, making a combined $300,000 a year.
This is just a recognition that it is not your fault that inflation drove up the cost of everything beyond what you have ever budgeted for.
Inflation that the governor admits helped the government's income. Higher costs meant more sales tax revenue.
And when I saw those budget numbers as I'm working on my next budget for the 2026 year, I said, wait a minute, this belongs to New Yorkers. This should be back in their pockets. And that's exactly what we're doing.
I know there's also concerns that perhaps these kinds of checks actually add to the inflation problem.
No, we don't anticipate that. The scale is not going to have any effect on inflation. Prices are usually nationwide, and so I'm not concerned about that. But here's
the governor needs the blessing of the state legislature in next year's budget negotiations. She says she expects pressure to spend this money in other ways, but she'll defend the plan of getting it back to New Yorkers in time for next fall's school shopping. In Syracuse, Andrew Donovan, News Channel 9.
Governor's office provided these estimates of how many people are eligible for the checks in each region. $300 for single taxpayers who make up to $150,000 a year and $500 for joint tax filers making under a combined $300,000 a year.